at one level, my father was assassinated, and it's violent, and it's sort of painful. But at another level, it's losing a parent. So many people lose parents. For me, at that time, I saw my father fighting forces that were much bigger. And I sort of sensed before my father died that this was not going to end well. So what was worse for me was actually seeing my father walking towards his death. That was much worse than the death, in fact. In fact, when my father died, they told me on the phone, I said, oh yeah, okay, so I know now it's happened. So it was almost a fait accompli that, okay, it had to happen, it's happened now. But the disturbing aspect was watching him fighting these forces and knowing as a son that he's not going to come out of this thing. It shaped me fundamentally. I didn't realize it then. Certain things my father said to me just got sort of stamped in my head. So I remember once my father told me in a conversation that, you must really think about things deeply. And I didn't realize it then, but that just, it stuck.
I feel
this was,
yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, it was very, very painful for me. But it also gave me many, many gifts that I would never have got. It made me understand violence. It made me understand the other. So I remember, it's a strange thing, I saw my father's killer lying on the beach in Sri Lanka. And I felt very, very bad for him. I just was very upset for him. I was like, I just saw him, that's my father. He's somebody else's father. There's somebody else looking at him right now the same way I looked at my father. Right? So when someone talks violence, I sort of sit quietly and I say, you don't actually understand it. That's why you're so enamored by it. It's never actually struck you. And when it does, you'll have a different view on it. So that type of thing does exist.
Yeah. No,
so overall, it's a positive, I don't know, positive and negative. I mean, when Prabhakaran died, I picked up the phone, I called my sister and said, Priyanka, this is very strange. She says, what? I said, I'm feeling very bad. Like, I should be feeling happy about this. And I'm just disturbed that why are they humiliating this man like this? What is the reason for humiliating him like this? And my sister says to me, Rahul, I'm feeling exactly the same way. Now, saying that to somebody who hasn't dealt with violence, you won't understand it. You'll be like, good that he's dead. But to me, that doesn't work. The first thing is, I can see that there is a clear Chinese vision. I don't agree with elements of it, but it's there. And the vision is terrestrial global vision. It's a modern Silk Road with a nervous system in it. And it's a global vision. The United States requires a global vision. We are a friend of the United States, but I don't see that global vision. I see a United States which is looking inside. I see a United States, much like India, that is dealing with its own internal contradictions, internal tensions. But I don't see the United States I used to see 30, 40, 50 years ago, that used to transform, do transformatory actions. So that's one element that is going to be required. And I think India has a role there in creating a vision, right? Creating a strategy. it's not necessarily a confrontational strategy. It can be a coexisting strategy, but the strategy has to be there. And currently the strategy is not there, right? The conversation that the United States has with India is basically a conversation about the military aspects of it. That's not going to cut it. That's not a vision. That's not even a strategy. That's at best a small piece of a strategy, right? So that is something that that conversation has to begin. At the same time, I do believe that India has to have good relations with as many people as it can. On the India, China, United States, look, a superpower is arising. There's just no question about that. And that the rise of that superpower is moving things around, shifting things. And the hope is that the two superpowers do not collide, because if the two superpowers collide, then we're in very serious trouble. So hopefully the two superpowers that are arising manage the situation, have the maturity to manage the situation, and find sort of a way of coexisting with each other. China is clearly on a trajectory where it is going to become a superpower, unless there's a collapse in their political structure, which seems unlikely. So that is something we're going to have to deal with. And look, as a country that is neighboring China and close to the United States, superpowers like to fight. Superpowers like to collide. And they don't like to collide on their own territory. So the nightmare for India is that we become the battlefield of that collision. And that's something that good politics in India, good foreign policy in India has to maneuver around. I mean, countries have been destroyed because of this superpower collision. Completely destroyed. Millions of people have been killed. So that's not somewhere where you want to go. And that is going to require wisdom on the part of the United States, wisdom on the part of the Chinese, and wisdom on the part of India.